Hello and welcome to episode 28 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
I'm Will Outlaw.
Welcome back, Will.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the Packers.
I'm going to start live streaming this. This is going to be super fun.
Oh, wow. This is so...
You want to live stream the whole thing?
This is meta.
This is so
Live
meta.
stream.
Well, yeah, if you're watching the video,
I've never
you
done this
can...
before. Let's see if anyone comments.
You have to hold it up so someone watching can watch
Checking-
us
Oh,
watch it on the
while
screen.
it's
Yeah,
happening?
yeah. It'd be pretty.
We'll see.
Watchception.
We'll see if it... We'll let this sit for a while.
Okay.
What
okay.
did you ask me a question, though?
Well, it wasn't quite... I said congratulations on the Packers.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
That
It
was...
was a good week.
I mean, like, I said as soon as Dallas scored, everyone was going crazy. I was sitting there with my dad, and I looked at, there was like a minute 13 left. I said, Green Bay's going to win this game.
Definitely.
I said, this game's not even going to overtime. Green Bay's going to win this game.
Definitely the best
And Dad
game
was
of
like,
the season.
Dad would say, you're probably right, but they could kick a field goal. I was like, no, Green Bay's going to win this game.
But guys,
They're just too good.
we gotta talk about the real sporting news. The Cubs are now in the National League Championship Series.
Congratulations on that, Jeff,
Yes.
too. Yeah.
Final four. Let's repeat.
Unfortunately, the Yankees
Go
are
Falcons,
also still winning, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Nationals
Go.
are out.
Yeah.
Harper. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's out of here.
Thanks to my Cubbies.
So,
Jeez.
when does that start?
Tomorrow.
Guys,
Hi.
we have 4 people watching right now.
Wait, really? Oh.
Yep.
Hey,
Darby.
what's up?
Hey, Jeff. This is...
Welcome to the podcast.
Sam says I love you.
Well, I love you too, Sam.
Oh, that's so nice. Never met him.
All right. I guess we talk about games on here. I guess that's the thing that we
I
do.
think so.
We do.
Talk
Will,
about games, yes.
have you played any games since we last saw you?
So I keep on grinding in Destiny some. Oh, I forget. Had to be over here more.
Yeah.
Yes, I've done Destiny more. I've been playing Wildlands a lot.
Okay.
I
Still
got the platinum in
playing.
that.
I
So
saw
I'm
you
done.
tweet that. I saw
I'm
you
done
You
now.
done, like,
I
forever done?
yeah, I have to be.
Okay.
I did like 500 collectibles in that game. I'm not even kidding you. I mean, it came out in March, right? I got that game
Yeah.
in March, and I just finished it or platinumed it. So, yes, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Now you need to play Zelda and get all the Korok seeds.
Oh my gosh, no, thank you.
You'll be fine. You just don't worry about it.
And then let's see. Oh, I started Until Dawn like a couple hours ago. So
Yeah.
that's pretty good so far.
How far are you in it?
Literally just played an hour.
Okay.
So
Okay.
basically just past the tutorial stuff.
Hmm.
No one's died yet. Well, kind of.
You know,
The beginning. but-
whatever. But
yeah.
you have not caused anyone to die.
No, I have not called
By
anyone
your
to that.
actions.
Yeah. It is an intense game though.
I think you're in for a treat. It's a really, really fun game.
Both of y'all played it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we played it together.
We played it kind of in a group of friends. Like, we each picked a character, and we would pass the controller to that person and
Yeah.
let them like make the decisions until Olivia like got too scared, so I had to take over her
Gotcha.
character.
I am missing out on that aspect because I would like to play with people. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
You need
it's
to get
just
with us for
different.
Hidden Agenda, which comes out in like 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Dang. Yeah, you do need to get.
I'll play Hidden Agenda.
Yeah, I definitely want to check that out.
Yeah. Luckily, you don't need to finish Until Dawn to play that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We'll be, yeah.
Well,
What have you been playing?
I'm the wrong person to ask because
Nothing.
I played like 2 hours of Persona last night for the first time in like weeks, and I died and lost like most of my progress. So yeah,
Oh.
kind
Still in the second dungeon?
sad boys. Yeah, I mean, that's
I'm
sad.
close to, I think, done with the fourth one.
Yeah, well, Jeff, you're a lot more dedicated than I am, I guess.
But you play some Cuphead.
Oh yeah, I guess I can talk about that.
Jeff,
Yeah.
yeah.
I did play Cuphead with Jeff like immediately after we recorded the podcast last week, and that game is so much fun. Like, I've been thinking about it like almost every day like since then because it is brutal and infuriating, but it's so much fun. It reminds
So
me
rewarding.
Reminds me of playing games as a kid where it's just like, one more try, one more
Old
try,
school
one more try.
Mega Man.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the 2-player was really fun. And I do think, I think Jeff said that he heard people say, last week that they think it could actually be harder with 2 players. And I could see that because it's very
For
chaotic.
multiple reasons. Because there's a lot more chaos going on the screen, so it's hard to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not 100% sure on this technically, but I'm pretty positive that all the enemies, the amount of damage they can take before dying is doubled, or at least increased. Because in the first run and gun level, I was able to kill them like very quickly when I was playing single player, but it definitely took more hits
Yeah.
when we did player.
Wait, so you can play 2 players in this?
Yes.
Cuphead? I didn't
Because
know
you
that.
got Cuphead and Mugman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, come
Did
on.
not know that at all.
And both players for each file has their own money. Like,
Okay.
when you get a coin, collect a coin, you both get it, but how you spend them is up to each individual player.
Yeah. And it's definitely different. I know just from we saw a little bit, like my other roommate was playing, we like let him go on his own on one boss, and it was like it looked like a lot simpler. But then when you add the 2 people, it like gets crazy.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Good co-op game.
And it's definitely, I could see this being a game, even if you beat it on your own, if you're showing the game to someone else, you could go through it again with someone else and have a lot of fun, perfecting it or just like doing the 2-player instead of the 1-player. It's a game you could definitely go back to a lot.
So Darby, what you're telling me is you want me to give you my advice right after I'm done with it.
100%. Like, as soon as you're willing and okay with me taking that.
Once I'm done with that, I got plenty of other stuff to play.
I've somewhat been trying to talk my sister into getting it so that I can play with her and stuff, but she's about to have twins, so she has very little time left to talk about it. Well, yeah, I mean, that's about... I recommend everything that Jeff said about the game last week. I agree with, and I only played the first little bit.
You played about as many bosses as I have.
Yeah.
At that point, we played a couple of different ones, or 1 or 2 different ones.
Yeah.
So,
do you have anything new to say?
Not really. I haven't played it since then.
Okay.
So,
What else have you played?
I have finished Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle story mode, and I talked about that a fair amount. Really great game. I think it's about as long as it needs to be. I think I ended up being between 35 to 40 hours after completing it, so
Okay.
a good bit longer than what Ubisoft said in the
I would
game.
have expected it to be shorter than that, so.
Yeah. That's partly because I'm doing all the side stuff, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
All the additional challenges. So yeah, this challenge, I'm trying to complete the final world challenge and then the ultimate challenges.
Mm-hmm.
There are 4 of them, so get done with that, then I'll be done with the game. My version, I'm 100%.
Overall, where is this ranked, like, in games of the year so far for you? Is this, like, top 5? Top 3?
Probably top 5?
Whoa.
Maybe. I gotta think about that. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot too much.
Yeah. Then the...
How do you, now that you're done or almost done or whatever,
yeah.
what is Jeff Mayo's opinion on Rabbids?
Well, they were fine in this. I mean, they're stupid and goofy, but I felt like they weren't too stupid and goofy. Where it took away from the game.
If I bought you a Rabbids shirt, would you wear said Rabbids shirt?
Only if it's Rabbid
mask.
Peach.
Like with the cell phone, like
Of
taking the
course.
selfie. Would you
Oh
would
my
you
gosh.
legitimately, if I buy you the shirt, will you wear the shirt?
Maybe.
Say no. Say no. I can't do that.
Because I might buy you this shirt.
Okay. One thing, the last thing I really played this week was Life is Strange Before the Storm, Episode 1.
Yes, which I think me and Jeff are going to record a separate. If you go to, we do spoiler casts sometimes, mostly for like movies and TV shows and stuff. But I think we're gonna do it for Life is Strange, and that's on Nerds at Large spoiler cast. So check that out, podcast there, or just YouTube Nerds at Large.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about Life is Strange. Be sad, boys. It'll be nice.
Yes. Okay. I'll just say overall impressions. I liked the episode a lot. It started off a little weird. I had to use the voice acting and some differences I had to get used to between the regular series. Yeah, and partly mechanics and everything. Yeah, and get the mindset. This is a different person than what I'm used to from the original Life is Strange.
I also think the writing in the first section is the weakest part of the entire episode. I think it gets
Yes.
better as it goes.
I
Like
agree.
it doesn't.
Makes sense.
The episode doesn't start off very strong, but it gets better. So yeah.
Coolio.
And very interesting to talk to Darby about choices. I think I messed up on one.
Oh no.
I regret one. So yeah, we'll leave it at that.
I think
for
most
now.
of my choices ended up being very vanilla. Like I was the same as most of everyone else.
There there are a couple main choices. At the
Yeah.
end, I was able to see what the world did and then what my friends did. There's only one, you.
Oh yeah.
I think we did all the same choices except for one.
Okay.
And that's the one I'm like,
Okay.
somewhat regretting.
All right. You show
I'm
me
gonna
off
end
our
this now.
soup.
I'm gonna
Okay.
end this.
Goodbye, live stream.
Goodbye,
Yeah.
everyone.
Goodbye. All right, Jeff. Let's move into news. News jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jangle. They got to miss the jingle.
Yep, sad
Let's
for
just see what
them.
the people said.
All right, Jeff, it's the loot box apocalypse.
Yep. So, yeah, there's a good bit to talk about. We had to have a decent amount of news than where I thought we were going to be because there was some last minute stuff.
Yeah, very last minute news. Gaff coming in.
Thanks,
Yep.
Gaff.
Thank you, Gaff. But depending how you look at it, I guess there are two main topics.
Pretty much. I
Yeah.
think it was going to be pretty lengthy here, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So we'll start with the first one. Like Darby said, we're going to start with loot boxes. Everyone's favorite topic nowadays.
Oh,
Other than
yes.
PUBG.
Just love talking about it.
Yeah, this comes from Robert Purchase.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, from Eurogamer. Star Wars Battlefront II has a loot crate problem instead of a progression system. The only way to get new abilities and weapons in Battlefront 2 is from opening loot crates. Bought either with in-game currency or real-world currency, price to be determined, or gifted to you for various reasons. Either you randomly receive the ability or weapon directly from the loot crate, or you randomly receive an amount of scrap to go towards eventually crafting it. Although scrap costs are high and amounts received tortuously low. Emotes and victory poses are in loot crates too. The sort of harmless father we're used to seeing in other full-price multiplayer games like Overwatch. There, loot box content does not affect gameplay, and Battlefront 2 it most certainly does. By the way, this can definitely be a read-heavy episode. All the information. Just warning you guys. Star card abilities in Battlefront 2 change not only how regular assault, heavy, officer, and specialist soldier classes play, as well as interceptor, bomber, and fighter spaceship classes, they also change how Battle Point unlock power-up characters play, all the way up to the iconic heroes and villains of Star Wars lore. If you want all the abilities and don't want to spend any more than the... Yeah, this is
50 euros.
Yeah, 50 euros you pay for Battlefront 2, which, let's be honest, is probably all of us. Then your options are getting lucky when opening a combination of daily loot crates, gifted loot crates, and earned loot crates for leveling up, or when opening loot crates bought with in-game currency. But as in-game currency is awarded as a flat rate for a team regardless of performance, this could take a long time. Trying to see if there's anything I can cut out. This is long.
Yeah, I mean, I can basically talk about after that. There's also when it comes to you get the star cards or whatever. There's also different levels of it. There's bronze, silver, and gold levels on it, and you can get you can. I think they talk about there's a Boba Fett ability that reduces his damage by a lot, and you get those from different star cards things. So basically, there's been lots of loot box controversy for a long time over a lot of things. Some people just hate the concept of them in general, no matter what. But I think this one is different because this loot boxes are actually tied to actual weapons and abilities and stuff like that. It's not just cosmetic stuff. The things that you would just unlock normally on the last Battlefront, you get from these cards that apparently, from what everyone's been saying, you get at a torturously low rate. Unless you can just pay a bunch of money and you can have everything immediately.
Yeah. Robert's conclusion to all this is Battlefront 2, a full price game, it's pay to win.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the issue. If it was less than $60, then it might be a different conversation. But
right. Well, and it's frustrating when a lot of these things. These are the things it wasn't like this. You had a lot of these same abilities, but it wasn't like this last game. So it's you're taking away or making it harder to get things in this game than it was last. And you're allowing it, someone could just buy Battlefront, put another 60 or 80 or some ridiculous amount of money on there and be better than you. When you buy the Star Wars on Battlefront on day one and you go in there could be someone just because they had more money, they're gonna kill you.
Yeah.
There's their attacks do more damage, they take less damage, they have all these weapons and stuff immediately. And I feel I don't know about you guys, but I feel personally, especially with all the backlash this has been getting, and rightfully so, I feel this time, because this is kind of ridiculous. I feel this would be the kiss of death for any competitive first-person shooter, except for this one because it has the Star Wars name on it.
Yeah, and it's just a series everyone loves just because of Star Wars and Battlefront. Everyone knows that.
This game is going to sell so much regardless of any of this.
which is kind of sad.
It is kind of sad.
Yeah. I kind of thought of this because I've seen a lot of people in comment sections, YouTube, Gaff, whatever, pretty much saying after all this, I'm not buying this game now. It went from pretty much I'm very excited this game to just not even gonna bother. But at the same time, from EA's perspective, yes, you lose those sales, but the people who buy this game will probably spend a lot of money to make up those costs.
They'll probably, because everything we've seen, we'll talk about with like other like just games of service and stuff. Like lots of companies recently are making a lot of money on like post initial purchase,
right?
Stuff. So yeah, like I mean, like everyone always says, like vote with your wallet, and like I think rightfully so. Yeah, if this makes you mad and everything, like it kind of makes me mad. Yeah, maybe don't buy it. I'm considering potentially. I don't really know if it would work out better for me financially or not, but I'm considering like going to Redbox or something, renting this for 2 days, playing the story mode, and turning it back in. That might be what I do.
That's the thing I'm most interested in.
I am. Anyway, me too. Me too. And yeah, I don't know if I want to play the multiplayer. I'm not going to play the multiplayer that much anyway, because I'm just not that type of. That's just not what I don't really play those games very often. But this does turn me off from it even more, and it kind of sucks because I feel like usually like I'm on two minds with loot boxes. Most of the time, like I don't care if they're there for like Overwatch when it's like you're just getting skins and stuff.
Yeah.
If someone wants to pay a bunch of money and get crazy skins, I don't care. That's
right.
I really don't care. But when it actually affects the gameplay, I do care.
Yeah.
And the problem is, even the cosmetic stuff, that's kind of where it starts. And as much as I think people complain about loot boxes too much, I don't know about you guys, but I think this is gonna get worse before it gets better. I feel like it is like, I hate to use the term, but it is like a slippery slope of like, with these companies, it makes sense for them to do this financially. They're gonna take this too far, and then it's gonna have to be brought back.
Yeah, I agree with you. We're not talking about it because it's not as bad as this, but you're seeing like Shadow of War, and I've heard some stuff about Destiny 2, all that stuff starting, and I think there's another game wrapped in as well. All these games that are now coming out that are taking advantage of the whole loot boxing. Like Overwatch didn't start it, but I don't know, I feel like it's got to more of a thing since Overwatch came.
I feel like it was one of the most popular ones. Like they kind of start like loot boxes have been a thing for a while, but this year is when it's been.
And then we had Injustice 2 also have them, but and they're having different degree as far as how much does it affect the actual game, and I guess different reactions from people. But yeah, it's getting worse. Battlefront 2 seems to be the worst offender.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better because companies are going to test how far they can go with this.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to bring up is, like in Destiny, we talked about the shader controversy, which was kind of a big deal. But another part that wasn't actually talked about as much is that you could also get like mods for your weapons through microtransactions like that, which... It's not as big of a deal because I don't think Destiny is as PvP. I don't know. That's not the main thing. Whereas Battlefront 2, I think it is.
Right.
But it's still obviously like that shows how much just a few months can actually kind of like shift in how they're trying to get away with more, which is interesting.
Yeah, and again, like I can't help but feel like this. It kind of doesn't completely surprise me that this is the game that seems to be taking it too far because they know they can.
Well, it's EA.
It's EA and it's Star Wars. Like they know this game. It doesn't matter how bad they made this game. It was gonna sell because it sold last year. It has Star Wars. It's coming out right next to the movie.
A lot more content.
Well, even last year, like a game
story mode that's apparently canon, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Canon story.
So much
that
story.
alone's gonna sell.
Exactly. And I mean, like just like last year, like they kind of got away with having a bare bones game and like no campaign. Yes,
it was Force Awakens 2 years ago.
2 years ago, sorry,
okay.
2 years ago.
Okay.
2 years ago, they got away with having like a bare bones game and everything, mostly because it was Star Wars. If it was any other first-person shooter, it wouldn't have sold.
Yeah. I was bamboozled into that. I was one of those.
Oh, I was too. I absolutely was too. I think I did pay. I got it for like cheaper, but like I still got bamboozled. I barely played the game.
I felt like you split it with Alex or something.
Something like that. I forgot what I did, but did something like that. I don't know. This is kind of. I mean, this is the first time. Usually, when we talk about loot boxes on here, I'm usually on the side of like, kind of who cares.
Yeah.
It's not affecting me. But this is one where I feel like it's gone too far. I'm wondering if this, like, if number one, if they'll change it by the time the game comes out, and number two, if this will like cause other games to like retract.
Well, we don't know about that. We'll have to see. But we have a response from EA.
Yeah.
This is from the EA blog thing or whatever. I'm not going to read all of it because some of it is like general beta stuff, fluff. But I'll read the part that involves the loot crates. Okay, this is from the blog post. We know you have a lot of questions about crates and progression, so we want to clarify a few things, as the complete system was not in the beta and will continue to be tuned over time. There are many things you can earn in the game, including weapons, attachments, credits, star cards, emotes, outfits, and victory poses. As a balance goal, we're working towards having the most powerful items in the game only earnable via in-game achievements. Crates will include a mix of star cards, outfits, emotes, or victory poses. Players earn crates by completing challenges and other gameplay milestones, or by purchasing them with in-game credits or crystals, or premium currency. If you get a duplicate star card in a crate, you will get crafting parts which you can then use to help upgrade the star card of your choice. And lastly, you have to earn the right to be able to upgrade star cards and unlock most weapons. You can only upgrade or unlock them if you have reached a high enough rank, which is determined by playing the game. And then some other stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
it does help with some balancing, but
I don't feel like this
still,
really fixes most of the problems.
Yeah.
Not really. It's slightly less pay to win.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It's like
you can't get the most powerful stuff, but you can get slightly less powerful stuff.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Just sounds like a way to save face, but
yeah. Figures worth reading.
It's
out there.
Yeah,
EA's at least, seeing that people are saying these things, even if they're not really looks like they're doing anything about it at the moment.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the more like moral or like legal part of this, because
yeah. Okay. This comes from Jason Schreier from Kotaku. Over the past few weeks, as randomized loot boxes have dominated the conversation surrounding this fall's video games, there have been calls for the Entertainment Software Rating Board, or ESRB, to classify them as gambling in its back-of-the-box ratings. But the ESRB says that it's not going to happen because, according to a spokesperson, loot boxes don't fit the bill. And this is email from the spokesperson to Kotaku. ESRB does not consider loot boxes to be gambling. While there's an element of chance in these mechanics, the player is always guaranteed to receive in-game content, even if the player unfortunately receives something they don't want. We think of it as a similar principle to collectible card games. Sometimes you'll open a pack and get a brand new holographic card you've had your eye on for a while. Other times you'll end up with a pack of cards you already have. Preach it. I'm just okay. In quote, the ESRB, which rates the majority of video games that are sold and published in North America, with both letter grades, and for mature, E for everyone, and content descriptors, blood and gore and nudity, has categories for both real gambling and simulated gambling. According to ESRB's criteria, real gambling is any sort of wagering involving real cash, while simulated gambling means that the player can gamble without betting or wagering real cash currency. The spokesperson added that any game with real gambling will always receive an adults-only rating, which would be poisonous for big publishers, as most big box retailers will not sell AO games, adult-only games, in their stores. The ESRB's argument may not sit well with those who believe that loot boxes are designed in the same predatory fashion as slot machines or craps tables. Many of this fall's games, including Shadow War, Destiny 2, and the upcoming Star Wars Battlefront II, features systems in which you can spend real money to get randomized gear in the form of loot boxes. The addition of these microtransactions in $60 games is always a sore subject, made far worse when they have an impact on your character's strength and abilities, as they do in these games. And then it says Battlefront II is not out yet, but Kotaku's extensive experience, loot boxes in both Shadow of War and Destiny 2 are easy to ignore, although their existence lingers. Yeah.
That
all that important stuff.
So I'm interested. I don't think we've talked about loot boxes, but we've never really talked about this side of it. Like, where do you guys come down on the actual, like, should we qualify these things as, like, something that could actually be harmful to people and something we should put a label on as, like, gambling?
If we do label it as gambling, the ESRB is going to have to change around some things, because if we consider it gambling and then they have to put an adults-only thing on it, just by their rules, that's a no-go, because then we would have Overwatch as adult-only.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's only adult-only if you look for Overwatch on the internet.
Yeah. I usually come down on the side of, like, while I don't, like, I really, like, even when I defend them, like, I don't really like loot boxes. I don't like having to, let's see if I get it. Nope, I got nothing. I just don't like that process. But I do think, obviously, I mean, like, there's no question about it, these things are designed to, like, tap into like you're like wanting to let's see what's going to happen, and it's tapping into like gambling type tendencies. And if you already have a problem, it could absolutely, some of these things could be predatory towards you. But at the end of the day, it kind of sucks, but that's kind of on you. I feel like it's kind of on the user to control themselves when it comes to these things.
An argument is that I've seen, for labeling as gambling and that kind of stuff, is that kids would be playing this and might do it, not knowing as well.
Yeah.
That's part. Then it gets to the thing where it's on the parents and not giving them access to your money. That
keep
easily.
your banking away from your kids, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, you can like I get it. I get that it's a problem and stuff, but like when you say this for gambling, you could say this for a million things. So where it's like, should we put labels for?
I think the trading pack cards is actually a pretty interesting metaphor because it is like really similar. Like if you wanted to go through and buy a whole bunch of Pokemon cards, hoping to get the legendary or whatever, like there's no.
Oh, it's totally the same thing.
Yeah.
And Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Darby knows how many of those are.
Oh gosh, we just had like so many containers of like Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Worth it.
It's insane.
Not to my mother though.
or even like in comic book publishers sometimes do this where they bag a comic in poly bags, and then like every once in a while you might be able to get like a sketch cover, like an original sketch cover, but like you don't classify that as a gambling,
right?
Though you might not get it.
Or not exactly like that, but when we go to comic book stores and have those little like $3 grab bags with a couple comics in it.
Yeah, exactly.
You might get some crappy ones, but
I mean, if there's enough evidence that like these things are like causing people a lot of problems, which is obvious people are like, I don't think there's necessarily maybe anything wrong with just putting a label like there, not the adult only thing, but just putting some sort of label saying that this game has loot box type, this game has these elements, and if you already have a problem, maybe look out for this.
There is one more thing that might be that kind of goes what you said. There's an article. The SRB spokesperson also pointed out that the board does add the digital purchases category to any digital games, which can buy additional content. I guess the problem with that is it only works for digital games. Man, they should look at putting it
You could put it on the box, just like where it has like comic mischief, cartoon violence, loot, or whatever. Like
seriously though,
I don't think that wouldn't be hard to do, and I don't think that's like asking too much. I think that would be fine.
And they already put a thing on there. If I remember right, maybe not necessarily in the SRB section, but they put on their general online functionality. Just put microtransactions and that kind of stuff on there.
Like, I don't think it needs to be made such a big deal to where it almost feels like we're shaming Overwatch for having a loot box, because like most people, I feel like it's not going to affect, but there are those who it will, and maybe it's worth it to like have some sort of notification there.
That kind of comes over the idea of like, should you really make a law or whatever that only affects a certain amount of people that have a problem, and then like have that affect everyone else? It doesn't seem.
Yeah, that's usually where I feel on it too, because I mean, it's just one of those things. If you have this problem, you have to do it. And I understand like people have argued like you go to games, you don't expect it's like it's not like gambling tendencies, even if it's whatever it is. You're not expecting that to be in every video game you play. You're expecting to be able to play a video game without doing that. But at the same time, you just need to. That's why I think the notification would be fine to have that on a box or something. So,
agreed.
Okay, so we'll move on out of the loot box stuff to what is breaking news to us at the time of this recording.
Thanks, Gaff.
Yep. This comes from Alex Waro. From
that is weird.
Walro.
Yeah, from Gamma Sutra. Media giant IGN announced today that it has acquired Humble Bundle, the company best known for selling packs of indie games at pay-what-you-want prices. Terms of the deal were not disclosed.
I'm gonna go check. There was a sound, but you guys can cover the podcast.
Okay, we got it.
You got it.
We got this.
The Waterman.
Yep.
It's the Waterman.
Wait, if I continue reading, or we just fill time? We'll fill time because
we'll fill time.
Yeah, since I guess probably hasn't read this. I think there's some important stuff in here.
That's fair enough.
Yep.
Let's see. What should we talk about?
Okay.
Those Falcons.
Yeah, that bye week.
That bye week.
Well, both my pro teams, seem to be doing good right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's your other team?
Well,
pro team.
Well, not football, but the Cubs for baseball.
Oh, the Cubbies. That's right.
Yeah.
Man.
Happy
you think
times.
they can do it again?
I believe.
Oh my gosh.
In the Final Four, they can do it again.
That would be nuts.
They have the chance.
That would be incredible if they
have a much
got
chance
it
of
again.
anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go
Yeah.
109 years or whatever world it was to that
Yeah,
point.
and then get two in a row.
Yeah. Next year I'll be like, I don't care if we win.
That's enough.
It's fine.
More than anyone else's lifetime.
Yeah.
Hey, Darby, you're back.
Okay.
I switched seats with you.
Oh,
I wanted to feel.
how did it feel?
It was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talked about the Cubs.
Yeah.
Oh.
We filled time.
You could have talked about the story. It would have been fine. But
I think there's information you might need to hear in this.
okay.
Yeah.
Very
Think of
important.
you, Darby.
Well, thank you.
But if you feel like this is unnecessary, you can cut it out. So.
I'm sure it was golden. I'm sure
Yes.
it was.
Okay. Blah, blah, IGN has got Humble Bundle. Okay, continuing. This is potentially a big deal for game developers since Humble has expanded beyond its bundling business to publish games. Pay devs to make games for a subscription-based monthly game club, maintain a subscription-based online game trope, and operate an online game storefront. However, a press release confirming the deal also noted that Humble will continue to operate independently in the wake of the acquisition, with no significant business or staffing changes. It will have some degree of support from IGN, which is itself owned by digital media giant J2 Global, specifically in terms of accelerating growth and raising more money for charity. Humble grew out of a bundle of indie games sold to raise money for charity in 2010, and in the 7 years since, it has raised over $100 million for charity. In a conversation today with Gamasutra, Humble co-founder John Graham and IGN executive VP Mitch Galbraith reiterated that IGN does not intend to change the way Humble does business. Galbraith said, "If it's not broken, don't fix it." He did explain that IGN started looking to make a deal like this nearly a year ago. Can you say the idea is just to feed them with the resources they need to keep doing what they're doing? So yeah, pretty much saying IGN is not gonna change Humble
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
like
right.
crazy.
Kind of strange.
Yeah.
It's weird news. It's kind of weird for. I mean, like, I don't know. It's weird to. Like a gaming media company. It's like I wouldn't think of IGN owning. Like a Humble Bundle where you're like buying games and stuff. Seems
If the money wasn't going towards charity, then I would be a little more suspicious.
of like conflict of interest and stuff.
But I mean, since all the money's going to charity, it's like pretty cool.
I guess this is one of the few like game like buying places where I think IGN can own that and it not be weird.
Yeah, exactly.
You just may expect more Humble Bundle ads on IGN.
Yeah,
Probably.
for sure.
Definitely so. But I mean, that's cool. Is it just me or is IGN just kind of getting bigger and bigger? Like they have a Disney show and then now they're like buying Humble Bundle. It's like I don't know. It's weird. I wouldn't have expected IGN to suddenly start growing now, but I don't know.
I don't know how the IGN show goes, but I just had the thought. Imagine if like Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty stayed at IGN, they'd be on Disney.
The show they would
actually.
Disney would probably have to tone Greg Miller down.
They'd be
a bit.
like, oh no.
Oh gosh, he's taking off his shirt. There's kids watching this.
They would have to tone them both down in different ways.
Yeah.
Colin would just be so grumpy
talking
the whole
about
time.
talking about Trump and politics and stuff. They're like, you're talking to kids.
They don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
Got any more to
next?
say about this?
Not really.
Okay, let's move on. This comes from Alex Osborne from IGN. If a new job posting by Blizzard is any indication, the studio might be working on a new project related to Overwatch. According to a listing on the official Blizzard's career website, the company is looking to hire a generalist artist intern to help create a wide range of assets for an unannounced project. Under the recommended talent section on the job description, it lists knowledge and understanding of the Overwatch universe, suggesting this project is in some way related to Blizzard's widely popular hero shooter.
So, wild speculation time.
Mobile game.
Oh no.
Oh,
Fine.
probably.
Fine. Whatever. Jeff just wants to make it negative immediately. Jeff just wants to be terrible.
I mean, if we want to get crazy with this.
You're probably right. It's probably like a Hearthstone for Overwatch. I mean, that's probably
I
probably
mean,
what
being
it is.
realistic, I mean, there's no way we're going to Overwatch 2 now.
No, I was hoping for some like random, I don't know, spin-off there like single player campaign thing or something. Like,
I know it's not
weird
what
thing
some
like
people
that.
want. I had a crazy thought. Fighting game.
I was thinking like I was thinking like some like lore heavy like kind of game that would be cool because like Overwatch lore is apparently very deep. I just don't care to read up on things. Like I'm just playing the game.
It's like Destiny.
Yeah,
While that could be a possibility, my first thing is mobile game.
No, you're right.
That's
I
probably
should have.
true.
I was thinking too optimistically. You were thinking too realistically. I probably shouldn't.
Normally, I'm the one who goes
We
crazy.
we can wonder about what kind of mobile game, but it's probably
It's,
mobile.
it's probably a card game.
I can promise you, whatever mobile game it is, Darby will have no interest.
Yeah, I can pretty much guarantee you probably won't. Even though I'm not trying to like say bad things about like Hearthstone, all these, they're apparently really good. It's just that's not I don't think Overwatch
not a
card
Gwent guy?
game. Right. I do. Gwent's the only one, but granted, I haven't played Gwent in like 4 months. So,
Same.
Yeah.
How about any of the Go series games?
No, I need to.
Okay, those ones.
Those
you played
are
those?
really good.
I have not, but they definitely something interesting. They need to go on Switch.
Yeah, I
That's-
mean, like, I'm not gonna be completely against it. That's just not
No.
what I would immediately
Yeah,
want.
yeah, no.
Like, I don't really.
I agree.
I don't know when the last time I played a game on my phone was.
Yeah.
Probably middle school. Like, if
I
we're being
have
honest.
games on my phone. Never touch them. Just put away in a folder.
Also, my phone battery dies when I do nothing, much less if I was playing a game.
Texting.
Yeah.
So yeah, as of October 13th, I have no idea if nothing else has been said about this game, or I don't even know if there's any other information that has come out or leaked or whatever. So might be a while before we hear about this, since something they're working on. You guys ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna be really quick. Life is Strange Before the Storm Episode 2 releasing October 19th.
That's this week.
Get hype.
Yep,
Is it this week?
next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
So,
Damn.
but yeah, hype. That is all. And that comes from the Life is Strange Twitter. So, yeah.
Get hype. Look for us to do a spoiler cast on it.
Yep. I'll try to play this game quicker, so we can get that out faster.
Yeah, Jeff.
Sorry. Okay, so you guys ready to move on now?
Yes.
Okay. This comes from the Studio MDHR website blog. Hello, friends. Cuphead has only been out for 2 weeks, and we never could have dreamed of the reception we received from our amazing fans. Today, we wanted to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for your support, and we're excited to share that Cuphead has gone platinum with over 1 million units sold. We have worked tirelessly over the past few years to deliver a game that remained true to our vision, and we are both humbled and excited that so many people from around the world are playing Cuphead. It truly makes it all worth it. From all of us at Studio MDHR, thanks again for support. And Chad and Jared Moldenhauer. I butchered that.
Moldenhauer.
Hauer. Moldenhauer. Yeah.
Moldenhauer.
1 million copies. Jeez.
Already.
I'm happy. That makes
Such
me
a
happy.
good game.
Is this a PC cross?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
on PC as well. Not crossplay,
Whoa.
but it's on both.
What do you call that again? Cross buy?
Play Anywhere, isn't that what they said? The Xbox Play
I don't know if
Anywhere,
it's-
whatever.
Probably is that. I don't know.
I mean, it's on
Interesting.
PC.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay.
And it's $20. So if you have an Xbox,
Well, it might be. Wait, it might be. Wasn't that the whole Play Anywhere thing? Is that it was cross save, or am I wrong? I don't know. It maybe will. Maybe.
Okay. I was just asking.
Don't
if
let
it
your
was on
hopes
PC.
dry. You know?
That was the main question.
point is, great game, $20. Got a PC and run it, do it.
Also,
I forget it's $20.
I also want to point out that I tried to say "Don't let your hopes die," and I said "Don't let your hopes dry."
We can edit that in post.
No, just keep those hopes. What? No, this is I'm very happy. Like, this game needs to be sold so that they can make, like, we get more games like this.
Yes.
I want it to be worth it. The fact that I think you said 18 years is how long it took them to make this game. I want
More
it
or
to be
less.
worth it. Yeah.
I was 6 when they started making this game.
And I was a little worried. Like, I was worried this was going to be one of those critically received well games, but commercially not.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I think for 2 reasons. One is $20. The other thing is,
that helps a lot.
what exclusive there are on Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, if I want to.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
The $20 thing is pretty interesting.
I mean, the $20 is the main thing for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And again, great reviews. Everyone's loving it.
Well, that's why when I was even talking to my sister about it, I was explaining the game to her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds cool." I was like, "Yeah," and it's only like $20. She's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we can get that." I mean, like, that's something a lot of people. It's like a lot easier to get them in the door when they only have to spend $20.
Indeed.
And just from the sheer amount of times you'll lose the boss fights, you're gonna get a lot of time out of that game probably.
Yeah.
Yep. Like every time you die, it's like you give it 1 penny.
I've heard people talking. I heard, like, I won't spoil it for you, but I've heard described one of the, like, last boss fights, and it's just sounds insane. It just sounds like pure hell.
Let's do it.
Were y'all Souls guys? Bloodborne guys?
No. I
I'm
had
not.
Bloodborne because I got it on Black Friday sale, but I have not opened it.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
It's one that I probably should try it at some point. It intimidates me, but one thing I like about, like, weird tangent, but one thing I like about the Cuphead type games that are really hard is, like, it's really, really hard, but when you fail, you're right back in it. Like, you're fighting this boss fight, you die, you immediately, like, seconds later, you're starting the boss fight again.
Yeah.
Dark Souls, I hate that you fight your way to the boss, it takes you so long to get there, you finally get there, you run up, he one-shots you, and then you have to fight all these people to get back to the boss.
And I mean, the main thing about Souls games that are annoying is that you just lose everything.
That too,
if you die,
yeah.
it's like, okay.
See, you have to go and die to the boss to learn how to beat the boss, but every time he kills you, you have to recuperate and get ready. I'm like, come on.
That's the one
time.
annoying thing about those games. But
Like, Bloodborne bosses, if I could just start them immediately again, that would probably be a lot more talented. But
Casual.
I am a casual. I'm a filthy
Get
casual.
good.
Yeah. There'd be people, like, cringing in there. And I'll probably play it eventually, and I know I'll love it. I know I'll love it.
It is fun.
Just
It's very fun.
You're a casual. You can't speedrun Cuphead in less than 30 minutes. This is facts. I don't even know what the speedrun is of that. I'm sure that could be a big speedrunning game.
Probably very quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Most of the time is probably spent on the hub, on the main, like, hub walking around.
Okay, so moving on. This comes from, well, this is another story in quotes from Twitter. Okay, so here it is. Fortnite Battle Royale Sunday update. 525,000 peak concurrent users and 3.7 million daily active users. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, that comes from the Fortnite's official Twitter.
So I kind of wanted to talk about this because, like, let me try that again. We actually asked the question last week or the week before, whenever it was, like, Fortnite announced that they had altogether like 12 million users or something like that. And we were like, I wonder what Battle Royale has. Very next week they said 3.7 million. Yeah. That's a lot. I mean, it's a free game and everything, but, like, they've definitely drawn up some buzz, probably from PUBG helping them draw that buzz.
I mean, I think it's almost more impressive because it is a free game that it has that many. Because I don't know, I'm not one to play games or free games at all. So
yeah, this is like the first free game, like, free to play game I've ever played, or, like, at least, like, big one like this.
See, if you rearrange the letters of everyone, it spells PUBG. So the same. Thanks, PUBG.
What?
I'm so confused by that statement.
Just pulled out anagrams in here.
It's a bad joke. Come on, guys.
I don't know. Good for
they need to thank PUBG pretty much.
Good for Fortnite.
Yeah.
I'm happy for them. Like, take advantage of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those.
Okay, so we're gonna stay with.
And you need to play that with us at some point. Download it. Download Fortnite. Okay. Like, because it would be a lot of fun for, like, the three of us to go in there.
Sounds good.
But we need another person because I don't think you have teams of three.
Well, Alex.
Okay.
I don't like Alex. Can't do it.
Well, darn.
This is weird things.
Okay, so ready to move on?
Yes.
We're staying with Epic Games. Okay. So with Sam Stewart from IGN. Anyone who's played Epic Games' incredibly popular Fortnite Battle Royale knows that cheaters have quickly become a major problem. Epic has taken a number of steps to counteract cheating, including new lawsuits against 2 repeat cheaters. According to documents obtained by Torrent Freak, Epic launched lawsuits against 2 alleged cheaters, Mr. Broom and Mr. Rasper, who have been caught cheating and banned multiple times, yet continue to make new accounts to play. Epic's complaints point out that cheating and enabling others to cheat is in violation of the terms and agreements players must agree to before assessing the game. Broom and Rasper both work with a cheat provider called Addicted Cheats and target popular streamers to gain notoriety. Yeah, Rasper is accused of having written the cheat code himself, and Broom has previously stated he is working on a cheat to create unwanted chaos and disorder within the game. Both defendants are facing up to $150,000 in damages for copyright infringement. In a statement given to IGN, an Epic spokesperson gave this comment. When cheaters use aimbots or other cheat technology, they ruin games for people who are playing fairly. We take cheating seriously and will pursue all available options to make sure our games are fun, fair, and competitive for players. End quote. Epic has previously stated that taking down cheaters is its highest priority, having already banned thousands of cheaters.
I love it. You go, Epic.
Yeah.
That's like I love that most of the time. Like they just like ban the cheater or whatever and like get them out there. Epic's like, no, we're taking you to court. So I'm like, this is a lawsuit.
On one hand, I think it is pretty cool, but I think it's also like not professional play, and I don't know if it's right that you can like sue someone for that much money when it's like casual.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if they'll get that much money, but
Yeah.
I mean, how dare Epic use the terms and agreements that no one reads against people?
That is true.
But either way,
that?
even when it's not professional play, I mean, like, there's people, like, their customers are logging on here and, like, getting a bad experience because these people are cheating and, like, ruining the game. And those people might not come back because they might just blame the game. They might be like, oh, the game sucks.
Well, both these individuals work with a cheat provider who, gives out the
enables
cheats.
Enables that stuff.
That's true.
And I mean, like, maybe, like, I get what you're saying. Like, maybe, like, I shouldn't. I'm just taking it from. I just hate these things. I hate when people are like using aimbots and stuff like that. I just think it's like it's pointless. It's dumb. It's like find something better to do with your life and all these things. So like, I like to see them get taken down like that. I do think like it is kind of a crazy drastic thing to like sue for that much money, but it sends a message.
Definitely sends a message.
And maybe other people won't be so quick to try that if they think that this might happen.
I'll read this again. I think they pretty much said in this these people were involved in like stream sniping or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
What's up?
Have you heard about that? Pretty much people are watching Twitch streamers go, and then they go into their games and find out where they are and just kill them.
Because they can pull up the Twitch thing and see. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them say because they like to see the streamers rage or something. I don't know. Childish.
That's so annoying.
I loved when there was someone that was streaming using an aimbot in Overwatch, and it's sort of they're like cheating and killing everyone, and then in the middle of their stream, Overwatch banned them.
Yeah,
it was just like they went out of the lobby, they were back in the main menu, and it immediately went up and be like, "You've been banned from Overwatch." And stuff.
So
I'm like,
good.
yeah, that's so great.
That is fantastic.
Yes,
I approve this.
Yeah. So, don't cheat.
Yeah. Just have fun, man.
Don't cheat, or Darby will dislike you greatly.
And if you need to cheat to have fun, what you doing, man?
It's just it's so
I have a
pointless.
confession. I am Mr. Rasper.
If you were going to be one of
Epic
them,
is
I was
suing me.
hoping you were Mr. Brew. If you were going to be one of them,
Will Broom. I assume that's the real name.
Shout out to my friend Will McBroom. Real name.
McBroom.
Yeah, Will McBroom.
Oh my god,
It's him.
that's fantastic. This is William
It's all
Outlaw and
connected.
William McBroom. That's perfect.
Oh man.
Okay. You guys ready to move on?
Let's do it.
Okay, this comes from Brian Ashcraft from Kotaku. And starts out saying, let's review. Nintendo released a classic mini NES. It released a classic mini SNES. And now a new Japanese trademark for the Game Boy has been found in Japan. NintendoSwitch.com reports that the trademark was recently discovered. It's been tweeted out by a Japanese trademark bot. The trademark was filed on September 15th and included an image of a Game Boy. It doesn't specify the name on the trademark, but it covers a variety of home video game console programs as well as programs for smartphones, smartphone cases, smartphone covers, as well as key holders, necklaces, and watches. Some of the trademarks could be to protect the Nintendo Classic Mini Game Boy brand, or they could simply be to protect the Game Boy brand. Full stop. So yeah.
So Jeff, where does the line end with you buying classic like these like mini classic things? Would Game Boy, is this something you'd be interested in?
Depending on games, and when they say game, this is something I've heard people talk about. Like when they say Game Boy, what exactly does that entail? They do Game Boy Color games. Will Game Boy Advance games be involved? What does Nintendo stop from there?
When does it end?
And also, I think it was Tim Geddes from Kind of Funny Games. They talked about this. Talking about the games. Some of them sounded good, but it's one of the biggest games for Game Boys that, probably you think need to be on there is Pokemon. But with the Pokemon Company, allow that.
Right, yeah.
A lot of questions with this thing, if it was to be true.
Yeah, and like, in Game Boy, like you said, Game Boy, like, spans over so much time.
Yeah.
Whereas like some of the games on Game Boy aren't even all that classic. Like they're not that long ago in the grand scheme of things. If you like include the Game Boy Color and
for a lot of people, other than like Pokemon games and a couple games here, and I mean they're examples, but and this is mainly for me because I was a little kid then who didn't know any better. I played a lot of like licensed games and a lot of really bad games in hindsight.
I feel like maybe like. Correct me if what I'm about to say is like completely blasphemous to you, but I kind of feel like even more than maybe the SNES and the other ones or whatever, Game Boy games and stuff are kind of a product of their time that like work better in the moment, but I don't really know if they would hold up all that well.
I mean, especially if you go through like original Game Boy to Game Boy Advance, we say there probably is. You could definitely find enough games to make a thing about. That has about 20 to 30 games, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially if you do Pokemon games. But yeah, a part of it is probably part of the time. A lot of, especially for the original Game Boy, it was, hey, we take the game on the go. There's that kind of thing.
I also feel like if you really wanted one, like you could go get one without a problem. And it's not like they're gonna make it smaller or anything, you know?
Yeah, this is another thing.
It's already portable.
What do you do? Yeah, what do you do if it's Game Boy Classic? There's no way they can make it a mini.
Yeah,
there's already a Game Boy Micro.
Yeah.
And the SP is already like pretty small.
Yeah. And the cool thing they could potentially do is they make it so, you can do it on the go, but somehow hook it up to the TV.
Yeah.
Just an idea. There's also this whole thing.
I do feel like, the SNES and the NES, like, classics, I feel like they're, like, more appealing just on the fact that they're older and harder to get.
Yeah.
And, like, because they made it so small, it is kind of portable in a way. Like, you can throw it in your backpack, go somewhere else, like, easily, or it doesn't take up much space. Game Boy, like you said, it's already portable. Like, what are you going to do that's that different than just having a Game Boy?
And can you not put Game Boy games in the DS still?
On at least the original DS,
you could. You can't do that with
not with a 3DS, no.
Gotcha.
No, they changed that because the main thing is you can do DS and 3DS games on that. So the 3DS, you still get a large library. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I still have my DS somewhere. I think
it's at my house.
Or I might have given it.
I think you let me borrow it.
I played it like 3 times.
I got a lot of use out of that. But also one thing is, if they do take advantage of this, and it could just be to cover their bases because companies use these trademarks all the time that aren't technically used.
Right.
Will they do this first, or will they do the rumored N64 classic, if even that's a thing?
It's weird because I didn't even consider Game Boy until this happened.
Yeah.
I was only considering the consoles. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I prefer N64.
I would too. I mean, but that's just me. I didn't play
Yeah.
Game Boy as much as everyone else.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what they would do with the games for both of these things if they do exist.
Yeah.
Release them.
That'd be interesting too. Yeah.
Dude, Jeff, as an aside, are you interested in the Atari classic that they're making?
No.
Okay. So that's where it ends. The Atari classic.
No, I could have told you. I think that's not even on the road we're driving on. You're talking about that's like a few miles to the left.
Sega pretty much has 280 games, and then what they
I forgot about that.
what they put on the box is a Mortal Kombat game, like 2 Sonic games.
Nice.
That's all the other
Go Sega.
75 games are irrelevant.
Sega's actually been doing this mini console thing for a
Yeah.
long time. It's just Nintendo did it and people actually cared. That was the difference.
Shout out to Sega for being my first console ever.
I think the Genesis was my first console ever.
That's Saturn.
Oh, you got the day.
Yeah. Short-lived.
So,
Played the Lion King game on Sega Genesis.
Nice.
Terrible game, but little kid Darby didn't know. It was okay.
Best game ever.
I played like Batman Forever, like the license game. Amazing.
10 out of 10. Okay, you guys ready to move on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this comes from Alex Osborne from IGN. After now having worked on 2 South Park role-playing games, series creators Matt Stone and Trey Parker discussed what other genres they might like to explore. And then Stone said in an interview with IGN, I would love to make a first-person shooter. I'm not even kidding. Some sort of first-person going through a 3D thing where you're seeing characters. End quote. Stone went on to note how the role-playing genre is such a good fit for South Park, saying, I love the way we do the Fractured But Whole and Stick of Truth, where the whole conceit behind those is it looks like the show. Parker also pointed out how RPGs just play so well into writing and applying to characters, which makes the genre such a good fit for South Park. End quote. While he sees the role-playing genre as the best possible thing for the series, Stone is still interested in exploring South Park from a first-person perspective. And he says, some part of me would just love to run around in South Park. I'm like a first-person video gamer. I just like that. So yeah, this could potentially be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more interested to hear what you think about it than me. But my mind goes in two directions with this. I immediately, when I hear that, I just think, I guess just because my mind is predetermined to think this way about these licensed things like this, I just picture it being a very cheap kind of not very good first-person shooter and being, not feeling very good. But on the other hand, if it has the amount of attention and the amount of having them, Matt and Trey or whatever working with them more, I'd be down to see South Park touch on other they touched on the turn-based strategy thing and kind of make fun of that and do their own version of that. I'd be interested to see South Park do this with third-person action or first-person shooter, and if they could make it with the same amount of polish, maybe.
Yeah, it could work, but I pretty much agree with him saying the role-playing game thing is the best fit for South Park for sure. And as we've said in this podcast, I'm very excited for the Fractured Butthole. Yeah, I try to think when I hear first person with South Park and stuff. I don't know why my mind instantly goes to crappy VR game.
Yep, that's what I was thinking too. I was thinking on rails weird VR.
I want to say they actually have a VR game where you can walk around South Park already, or a little VR experience thing. I know there's a Rick and Morty one.
I mean, is there any even going away from the first person shooter? Is there any other genre you would be interested in playing a South Park game in, or did they kind of nail the one that you would want?
I feel like they nailed it. I think of other genres. I'm I don't know if this would fit as well. You said 3D action, then they're gonna make 3D models.
yeah.
Part of the reason this fits the role playing games the way they have it right now fits so well is because it looks just like the show.
Yeah, South Park Metroidvania. That could work.
South Park fighting game.
That could also work.
Yeah, the different genres they can do with some, but yeah, anything involving 3D, I'm like,
yeah. It would need to be. You're right.
Yeah, Metroidvania and the fighting game work because it'll be 2D.
Right. So. But even though some of these things sound kind of cool, they all kind of sound like smaller things compared to this. I feel like this is what it needs to. I feel like they kind of.
Yeah, but do they even want to make a full game again? Because they said they didn't want to after
it's
the
been
Stick
such
of
a
Truth.
Grueling process both times they've done it. So
that reminds me, I need a little catch up on South Park because apparently this past week's episode was a tie-in to the Fractured Butthole. So I need to catch up on that.
They also commented on the Facebook thing or whatever with Russian interference. I don't know. I just heard people talking about it. It sounded like it was pretty interesting.
It's always something they do. Okay, so you guys ready to move on?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's awesome this week?
Yeah,
well,
Jeff.
we have 2 awesome stories.
What an awesome week.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
So we're going to go to a little more serious thing. Then we're just going to go to a very just funny one.
Yeah, that's awesome news.
Yes.
And then that's awesome news.
Exactly. Darby gets it. Okay, this comes from a Bethesda blog post from their website. To celebrate the launch of The Evil Within 2 this Friday, which will be out, definitely by the time you're hearing this, it's out now, Bethesda is kicking off a fundraising campaign to help support the efforts of the American Red Cross. Dubbed The Good Within, this campaign will run through the month of October, and Bethesda will match all donations up to $15,000. Tap into The Good Within and help us raise money for the Red Cross disaster relief efforts and humanitarian aid around the world. Be part of The Good Within. Head to the official donation site. You can choose to donate money to support the Red Cross as a whole or select a specific cause you would like your donation to go toward. Any money you choose to donate will go directly to the Red Cross. Bethesda is also partnering with select streamers who will be playing The Evil Within 2 prior to its release to help drive awareness of the cause. And if you go to Bethesda's blog post, it has a schedule and the names of the streamers.
Yeah. Remind me I can try to put a link or something.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really good. Cool to see big company like that using their status to
I want to see something real quick.
like that. And props to the name, The Good Within.
I'm pretty sure that is not grammatically correct though.
I'm pretty sure too, but it's also
it's
video games.
I think good is the adjective. But I'll let it slide. As an English major,
I was about to say, guess who's the English major? Can you pick the English major? Yeah.
On PS4 is an 81 score on Metacritic with 23 reviews. I was just curious.
User score, pretty good.
Did you play the first Evil Within? Evil Within?
No, I thought about it. and it was like too scary.
Okay. You get spooked easily. Well,
The only like game like that I've played is probably Resident Evil 5, and I played that with a friend, so it wasn't scary. It was good though.
I can't remember. Resident Evil 5? That was when they were still just doing like action games, right? Those weren't even scary.
That was like the
to begin
beginning
with,
of
right?
the action game era. That was the one where it's like in Africa.
So maybe still a little spoopy, but
It was spooky in the beginning, but then it got just ridiculous by the end. Yeah.
Need to play 7. Resident Evil 7.
I'm too scared. I can't do it.
I mean, I am too, but I'll do it anyway.
Oh no, I'll check later. I'm interested
But
to
I
see-
legitimately can't play PT, so maybe I shouldn't play
I did
Resident
play
Evil
that.
7. Like
I didn't
I
go
have
all the way
to
through
I have
it.
to have someone else play and I'll watch. Like I can't do it.
I like watching those games.
Oh yeah,
I don't like playing.
I'd buy Resident Evil 7 right now if we get Olivia to play it.
Oh yes. I think Anthony has it. We should just get his. But yeah, I think that's part of the problem with horror games. That's part of why they don't sell well. Is because a lot of people like watching them,
Yeah,
but not everyone
streaming.
likes
Oh
playing
yeah,
them.
speaking of Resident Evil 7, I wonder how to see how it does in end of year stuff because it's so long ago. It's the very beginning of the year.
It's not going to win anything because it
I
came
know.
out. Number one, it came out in January, and that's terrible. Like it sucks that it works that way. But if you come out early, you get shafted for this stuff. And number two, there's just so many other games.
Yeah.
Like it's
It could win
in
like
any
an
normal
adventure
way.
game or something.
Yeah.
Karen Shooter, yes, maybe.
Oh
Maybe.
yeah, I forget it's the shooter.
I doubt it because I don't think shooting's very
Yeah,
That's an
prevalent
adventure
in it.
game. It could
Like,
win.
yeah.
Do they have a horror game category?
I
or
don't
is
think
it-
so.
because there's normally not enough big damn horror games. Trying to think, you get the Evil Within 2 and that, and probably some small stuff.
Yeah, probably you're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Outlast 2, was that this year? Don't know.
Yeah, it was.
Whatever.
I thought that was last year. I might be
Wait.
wrong. No, because our first episode was about Outlast being
So it was this
banned in Australia, and
It
then
was
it
this
wasn't.
year.
So that was this year.
Yes.
Yep. I remember that. That was our very first episode.
It came out in April.
Maybe someone listening knew that. I don't know.
I didn't. I knew.
So you had 3 games.
3 horror games.
Yep. Okay, so the
Part
second
2.
That's Awesome News of the week comes from Alex Theodoff from IGN. The one and only KFC founder and fast food icon, Colonel Sanders, praise be to him, will be playable in WWE
be.
2K18. The news was announced during a stunt at WWE's Hell in a Cage pay-per-view event.
Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell.
Come
sorry.
on.
In a cage.
I'm sorry. I
That
just
doesn't
see that.
rhyme.
Do you?
Sorry. I don't wrestle. I don't do the wrestling.
Yes. Well, good thing me and Will do. We wrestle.
Huge WWE fan.
No, yeah, we're
Will
fans,
all-
but we also wrestle.
we actually wrestle.
Okay. During which Kurt Angle dressed up as the Colonel and went up against WWE superstar Heath Slater, who was dressed as the Colonel's arch rival, Puppers Cluckers Chicken. Players can access Colonel Sanders through the game's Creative Superstar mode. You'll also gain access to 2 versions of Angle if you pre-order the game. Check out blah blah. You can check out screenshots online. And WWE 2K18 will be released for PS4, Xbox One, and PC on October 17th, with a Switch version coming out later this fall.
Do you think? Listen, do you think
What do I think?
when we die?
Yes.
When we die.
Yes, I do.
When we die,
I think when we die.
and when we get to the gates of heaven,
Yes.
will Knack and the Colonel be waiting for me?
It's gonna be the Apostle Peter,
It's
and then
Knack.
Colonel Sanders.
no,
and Knack.
no, the Darby.
Holding
It's
the
gonna be
Tell me Knack is there, Jeff.
no.
Knack's
Yes,
not there.
Knack will be there, but dressed as Colonel Sanders.
Oh.
Okay. Praise be to
Praise
Praise
be to
be
Knack.
to you.
Praise be to Knack.
Oh man,
So why don't Darby? Why don't either of us have Knack too?
I have to leave.
I'm sorry, Will.
Someone edit this out. The Colonel.
All right, you ready to move on?
That was awesome though.
Yeah.
All right, main topic. We are going to talk about games as a service, which we kind of already talked about and we've talked about before. But there has been some new news with like Square Enix. We'll like talk about what they've
It's older
done.
news that we've been hanging.
It's
on.
kind of older news, but it's prevalent because like
Yeah.
they're going to look towards games as a service going to the future. But first, Jeff, do you want to read this nice article by Hayden Taylor at GamesIndustry.biz?
Indeed. Okay, yeah, so we'll read that, talk about that, and then we'll get into Square Enix stuff. Okay. A study from monetization service company Digital River found that games as a service has tripled the industry's value. The report, Defend Your Kingdom, What Game Publishers Need to Know About Monetization Fraud, noted that developers of all sizes are benefiting from the steady stream of in-game content that both serves player expectations and increases the revenue per user. The report continued, this does not just apply to free-to-play titles. In 2016, a quarter of all digital revenue from PC games with an upfront cost came from additional content. Digitalization has forever changed the economics of the video game industry, the report says. Consumers are expecting more for less from game developers, an issue which has also plagued indie game developers for some time. The shifting notions of value in the video game world have irrevocably altered player spending habits, the report found. And the report says the consumers are less willing to pay $60 for a box game and instead choose titles with a steady stream of new content. Publishers seek to meet these expectations and have adopted a game-as-a-service model, releasing fewer titles over time while keeping players engaged longer with regular updates and add-ons. And there's a lot more stuff in the report that necessarily have to do with this that are interesting if you want to read that.
Yes. So people are making a lot of money
Yes.
off of games as a service.
This is definitely something that's becoming more prevalent, as it says, and yeah, there are definitely some people that are probably buying some less games because they just have the one game they stick to.
And yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm like probably to a lesser extent, I've still bought a lot of games, but even like just the mileage that I got out of Overwatch and the amount of time like last year and even this year that I wasn't playing any new game and I was just playing Overwatch for weeks and weeks and that was the only thing I was playing. I can definitely see that. And in my friend group, I'm one of the people who's played Overwatch the least.
I am the one who's played the least.
You are the one.
Okay, I'm one of the people this article does not apply to.
Exactly, yeah. You're one of the ones. I'm the one that kind of applies to, but I know so many people who it does.
Yeah.
Even people like our roommate, or I don't live with you, my roommate, who, like, I feel like in most years he would have bought a lot of other games, but he's mostly played Overwatch because his girlfriend also plays, and they play together.
Oh, because he has no time.
Also, he has no
time.
time.
And he has Persona.
But even if they did have time, they've spent that time with Overwatch, and I've seen that's been a thing.
Overwatch alone has justified Olivia's PS4 purchase.
Oh, yeah. God. I don't even want to know how much time she's put in there.
I do. Let me know, Olivia.
Yeah. You want to move on to the Square Enix thing, then we can kind of just talk about this as a whole.
Yeah. Okay. Again, this is an older article. Let me just see the date, just kind of give us a little more context.
I remember seeing this.
Yeah, this was going to be like
September 22nd.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's not like they were talking about their future business plans. Yeah. It's not like it's...
I just want to give people the idea.
Yes.
Context and all that. Okay. Because of Alex Salz with IGN. Expect to see more multiplayer-minded games from Square Enix as the company plans to further embrace the concept of game as a service. In a message to its shareholders as part of the Square Enix's 2017 annual report via Twitter user Nibel, President and Representative Director Yosuke Matsuda discussed the increasing importance of multiplayer games and experiences designed with long-term engagement in mind. Matsuda explained, "Gone are the days in which single-player games were primary status and multiplayer games secondary. Lately, multiplayer games have taken the lead, and it is standard for games to be designed for long-term play." In quote, he went on to note that while the idea of games as a service and multiplayer games have been around for a while, today they are seen as game designs that place a strong emphasis on long-term user engagement, which is something we've seen Square Enix embrace recently with a steady stream of new content for Final Fantasy 15. That's a little different, but whatever. In fact, the ever-evolving RPG will soon get a multiplayer expansion with the arrival of Conrad's this October. Is that out yet? Side note.
I can look. You just keep me.
It's October now. In an effort to increase customer satisfaction and enhance the lifetime value of the games itself, Matsuda says Square Enix will endeavor to develop games designed not to be played once after launch, but that customers can enjoy more and play longer. So, yeah.
October 31st.
Okay.
Halloween Comrades.
Yep.
So, I mean, like, Square Enix is a pretty big company to, like, and I feel like they're probably far from the only ones who are doing something like this. They're just the one we've heard with this. It's not really surprising that to hear, like, them say with how much, like, we just said how much money companies are getting from these type of games. It's not surprising that they're going to try to go into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like in some ways it can be good. Like, I enjoy Overwatch. I don't play too many other games service, but like, everyone loves Destiny and all these other ones. They are kind of like that, where it's designed to keep you in, with like a steady stream of things coming out.
Nintendo's using that format for a couple of his games.
Yeah.
Splatoon's a big hit with that.
Yeah, because Splatoon, constantly like, putting out new maps and new modes and stuff like that. ARMS, I'm guessing, is doing something like that.
Oh yeah, like the people have data mined it, and the rumors are it's going to double the character count by the end of its stream of content. So
wow, yeah, exactly, and even like it's not like the same thing, but we're even starting to see it in some like single player games in a way like Shadow of War has loot crate things. It's not like the loot box problem with money wise, but at least it's like things that you can like. It's putting in like those elements that games as service have in a single player game. It doesn't work quite the same way, but it's kind of a start towards that direction.
Well, I said, this article mentioned Final Fantasy 15. I said, well, that's a little different. Then I mentioned the multiplayer thing. Okay, yeah, I kind of forgot about that. Final Fantasy 15 could be more like that with the multiplayer, depending how good it is and how people like it. And if a lot of people like it, they'll keep on doing content for that.
Yeah,
and that could be something big. Final Fantasy 15's at the end of the day will be remembered for.
Right.
Depending how it goes. Like, when we think Grand Theft Auto 5, we think Grand Theft Auto Online at this point.
Mm-hmm. I kind of doubt that.
I doubt it, but it could.
But it could. Yeah. I mean, we might remember. One thing I'm going to remember about Final Fantasy 15 is that, like, so much time afterwards, they were still, like, releasing the Pocket Edition, the mobile phone game, the, like, all this stuff. Even if it's not good, they just kept, like, doing this stuff. So, I mean, like, what do you guys think this means, like, for the future? Do you predict, kind of like I a little bit do, like, pessimistically, that companies are just going to try to, like, get into this while it's hot too much to the point where we just get sick of these things?
I predict that games as a service / the loot box craze is going to be the new open world games. Because everyone jumped on that craze, and now people are getting tired of it, besides the select few.
I was thinking of that too, actually. Just like with how much time it consumes, it can be hard to start playing a whole bunch of different games.
Yeah,
and it's not going to work for everyone.
Yeah.
Kind of the whole thing. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, that kind of reminds me of the thing with Overwatch and Battleborn, and how, like, obviously they tried to do a similar thing and it just failed horribly.
Yeah. I can't imagine that the overall, like, revenue and stuff for the gaming industry might increase, but the overall, like, sales, like, units will go down for games because more people will be focusing on one or two specific games throughout the whole year.
And by design, the games as service model is supposed to keep you playing that one game. Yeah. So if everyone's doing that, you're not going to be playing all these games because it's designed to keep you on one.
Yeah. Which, again, that doesn't fit my playing style. Like, I'm not the biggest, like, the multiplayer guy anyway, and I, want to keep on moving. There are too many, like, good, like, single player games I want to play.
Yeah. I think some people do like I do. Like, a lot of times I'll have, like, nowadays, I'll have my multiplayer game I'm playing, but I'll also be, like, I'm juggling.
I mean, I kind of have that with Splatoon, but I don't get into it as much as a lot of these people are to say I do that.
I mean, I can already feel that tension, I guess, with how much I've been playing Destiny 2 and not having the time to play anything else. And it's like, I love Destiny, so I'm enjoying it a lot, but there are times where I want to play something else, but I'm like, I'll just play a couple quick matches or something, It's just so easy, so I don't know.
And it gets to, it's like, I don't know if it's because I don't have time or it's because I'm playing Overwatch and stuff like that, but I feel like I used to get more games done. I used to, put away games a lot.
Well, for multiple reasons, we definitely can see the game service thing is going to continue and get more up because, the report that it's making lots of money, and the fact Square Enix, of all companies, are doing this just because when you think Square Enix, you think all these, like, big single-player games.
Yeah.
I have trouble thinking of, like, big multiplayer
That's
games.
What worries me. So, like, looking on just specifically Square, I don't know if this means, like, we're going to start making a bunch of new IPs that, like, with multiplayer games as service things, or that, like, I could see it, like, what if they come out Final Fantasy 16, but it's this multiplayer games as service style thing. Like, its own rendition of it, but, like, it's not your traditional, like, Final Fantasy. I could see something like if it goes crazy enough like that, or just the next Final Fantasy 16 like has some like deep element of that.
I can imagine if it was coming out like let's say 6 months to a year later, this idea would be exactly that, like ARMS, like Nintendo's doing with ARMS, that kind of thing with fighting games.
And it still could end up being.
Yeah, because it lacks characters, so they can get away with it right now, potentially.
Yeah, I kind of have a feeling it's not going to sell enough for it to even be worth them spending much time on it.
Probably not.
At least not in the West, at least.
Yeah. But, yeah, maybe I don't know. I'm interested to see, like, what franchises they do this for, if they do it with any, existing ones, or they just make some new stuff.
And, yeah, like...
Avengers.
I could definitely, I can totally see. Like,
I'm having trouble remembering.
What's the percentage odds that the Avengers game has like loot boxes and stuff, or it has like that kind of thing?
Okay, I'm having trouble remembering. I know there was something, but what was the rumor thing about what the Avengers game is? Like, there were some rumors, right? I'm not crazy.
I don't remember seeing anything.
Like genre wise, or what are you talking
about?
I thought third person action. I thought it was what
I
they
can't
said,
remember.
but I might be wrong.
For some reason, and I might be remembering wrong, I saw it and thinking like, oh no. I don't know. I can't remember.
I'm not sure.
Look out later.
I don't think I've seen much official stuff. There was just a teaser trailer, but I don't know if there's been rumors afterwards. There hasn't really been much about the game.
Yeah.
Several of us had E3 predictions for the Avengers. It never happened.
Yeah.
But, I mean, do you think this means that Square Enix is going to focus more on multiplayer games, or do you think they're going to add these type of longevity to the single player?
Here's the thing. One company can't do too many of those games, because then you just eat profit from another one of your games.
Right.
Like, even more so than with single-player games. So, I don't expect to see Square Enix doing, like, every game like that, just doing, like, one or two.
Yeah.
Or maybe more, depending on what they do genre-wise with it, to make them different.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah. One single company can't do too many of these things.
Yeah, like you said,
like hold my beer.
You're right.
We'll see.
True, they released Ghost Recon and For Honor's that close to each other. I mean, they're different, but
yeah, I guess they're probably
but
trying to get to different audiences,
thing,
but still, it's not. I mean, like, and when these companies get big enough, I mean, heck, there's no universe should Titanfall 2 have been released just weeks before or after, I can't remember, Battlefield 1.
Yeah, that's
same company, but they released them a weeks apart. So who knows? Like this.
Well, Darby, we can all agree that was just the dumbest thing ever.
Oh, it was really stupid. It was really, and everyone for months ahead of time was like, "So this is stupid, right?" It's like,
so everyone knows this is stupid, right?
Like, I mean, tangent, but that had to have just been like some financial thing where it's like, no, you have, like, the investors were like, you have to have this in or we're dropping or something. It had to have been something like that, because it made no sense to release that game though. Anyway, well, do you guys have any other thoughts on games as service?
Not really. I'm very interested to see where this goes.
Yeah, I am too. I don't want to be completely negative about it, because I like some of them, and I feel like the model can be good for players, because it gives you get more out of just paying $60 for something, and you get a lot of time out of it.
I guess the only thing that we could be critical of is if games start shipping that aren't completely finished, and they market it as games of service, giving you more content, but didn't have enough content to begin with, I guess.
I mean, that happened. I feel like that's already happened sometimes, but yeah.
That's the thing to worry about, I think. Otherwise, I think it's a cool system.
Or Street Fighter 5, you release with not enough content, and then 2 years later, you finally give the content.
Yeah, did you hear about that? They're not releasing the arcade mode till next year.
Nice. All right, cool.
They literally talked about the arcade mode 2 weeks after release. They were like, "Don't worry, we're gonna do it."
They're releasing a new, a whole new edition of the game to release the arcade mode. I mean, I think it's free for the original edition, but
classic.
But hey, Street Fighter 5 is actually out now, you guys. Finally.
Capcom.
Nice. Capcom.
That's all I can say. They had Resident Evil 7. That was a good idea. I won't think of anything else.
I miss the Capcom I knew as a kid. The Capcom that did so many things. It was, I don't know. It sucks. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me for this podcast. Jeff, we actually are going to end at a good time. I'm glad.
We did it.
I know, it's crazy.
Okay.
Thank you so much for listening.
Do we have goals? Do we want to...
God, I always forget. You go first. I'll think of something. Gosh.
Well, I'll continue saying reiterate my long-term goal, because I'm technically not finished being, for me, completely done with Mario plus Rabbids before Mario comes out. I feel pretty good about that since I got 2 weeks in. I only got a handful of challenges to do,
Right.
and those can take 5 minutes depending on the challenge.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I'll say this. I doubt I'll get it done because depending when we do it, but I'll say do Life is Strange for the Storm episode 2.
Do it.
Yeah, that comes out Thursday.
That's gonna be mine. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah,
I'll go big and try to finish until dawn.
you can definitely do that.
You can do that.
Yeah, I heard it's not too long.
How long was that? Even
8 hours, whatever.
something,
Yeah.
something like that.
Especially if it's especially if you're like me, you get sucked into that.
Yeah,
sucked
yeah,
into
yeah.
that things.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we had to play it. Like we could only play it when we had everyone was free at the same time. So it
Yeah,
took us a
true.
while.
Get
but
5 people together.
Yeah. So.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, you'll have to let us know how you fare. How many people?
Yeah.
How many people die?
Yeah.
So many people are gonna die.
we'll have to compare. We'll let you know what happened to us after
Cool.
you tell us. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm very interested to see how you do.
And you'll hear me rant about someone in particular stupidity.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to see my boy Mr. Robot. I was like, what? Rami
Excuse me,
There's
Freddie
lots-
Mercury.
Yeah.
And who's the girl, the blonde-haired girl?
Hayden
Like,
Panettiere.
yeah, Hayden Panettiere. Yeah.
Heroes.
I'm forgetting his name, but I think it's Mike in the game. But I like his actor from Agents. He's an actor in Agents of
okay.
Shield.
Huh.
I always liked him.
He's a jerk in the game so far.
He is.
I hate him. He's dying for sure.
For sure. I'm just going to make sure he does. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Yep,
Look for
thank
the Life is Strange Before the Storm episode 1 spoiler cast soon, and then episode 2 spoiler cast shortly after the next one.
Oh yeah, hopefully we do that next week, maybe.
Hopefully.
And
That will be under Nerds at Large spoiler cast on audio stuff and just on our YouTube channel with everything else.
yeah, and hopefully I'll have something written about Mr. Miracle on the blog
Yes.
this weekend.
And
Which is
so-
nerdsatlarge.wordpress.com.
Yep.
Yeah, and on the same thing, hopefully I have some stuff written out of the DC CW shows,
Woohoo.
Hopefully I
Yeah.
do something with my life.
and they figure out how to get that work.
I'm working on that Red Wedding video that I keep talking about. I'm working on that. It's like almost done, so
Cool.
cool stuff.
Thanks.
See you guys next week.
Bye.